A few weeks ago, I started a new series in the Planet newsletter on Substack, and it's called The Strongman's Playbook. And the idea is simple. Throughout history and countries across the world, authoritarian leaders have used the same techniques to consolidate power and to dismantle democracy. And the methods they use are not random. They follow a pattern. So, if you understand the pattern, you can recognize it when you see it happening. And that knowledge is highly relevant today. The series has 10 parts, and each time I discuss one technique used by the strongman. So part 1 was about the courts. And that was part 1 because every strongman starts there. Courts are the one institution that can say no to an executive and make it stick. So the courts must go first. Look, for instance, at Argentina, where Perón purged the Supreme Court within 2 years after taking office. Or look at Orbán in Hungary, who packed the Constitutional Court quite soon after winning his supermajority. These are different countries and different methods, but the logic is identical. Now, yesterday I published part 4, and it's another strongman's favorite. It's called Hollowing Out the Civil Service. A strongman cannot afford officials who do their jobs according to the law, or career scientists who document inconvenient findings. And you surely don't want military lawyers who flag illegal orders, or senior officials who point out that a proposed regulation conflicts with the statute. These people are obstacles. The strongman removes them and replaces them with people who are loyal to the strongman instead of being loyal to the law. I published that yesterday evening, and I didn't use a crystal ball. But this morning, the Supreme Court of the United States handed the president one of the most powerful tools for doing exactly that. In a 6-3 ruling along ideological lines, the court overturned the 1935 precedent that had stood for 91 years. The president can now fire the heads of roughly 24 independent agencies at will. The Federal Trade Commission, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the National Labor Relations Board, the agency that investigates plane crashes, you name it. The agency that enforces workplace safety. There's no cause required, no process, there's no appeal. Now, Congress created these agencies to be independent of whomever happens to be in the White House, and that independence is now effectively over. Now, here's the connection I want you to hold on to. The court that delivered this ruling today is a court that was built over 3 decades of Republican appointments, including 3 justices appointed during Trump's first term. And remember that I just mentioned that part 1 of the Strongman's Playbook said you capture the court first? Well, today the captured court delivered the instrument for part 4. So these steps are not just consecutive, they are interdependent. You capture the courts precisely so the courts can do this later. And this is what makes the historical parallel so sobering. It is not that the United States is Venezuela or that the United States is Hungary. It is that the technique is the same, and the technique has consequences that history documents clearly. So when officials know that they can be fired for any reason at any moment, they stop giving advice that might be unwelcome. They stop flagging when an order conflicts with the law, and they stop producing findings that contradict the political priorities of the people above them. And that is not speculation. That is what happened, for instance, in Venezuela after Chavez fired 18,000 oil company engineers in 2003. And that is what happened in Hungary after Orbán restructured the civil service after 2010. And that is what happened in so many other democracies that eroded under the strain of a strongman. The institutional knowledge disperses, the professional culture changes, and rebuilding it takes far longer than destroying it did. And I want to be honest about something. When I started the Strongman's Playbook some weeks ago, I hoped that the historical parallels would feel instructive, but maybe somewhat distant. Something to learn from, not something to watch unfold in real time, but today they do not feel distant at all. If you are not yet reading The Planet, today is a good day to start. The series is designed precisely for moments like this one, where understanding the history gives you a frame for for the news that no daily briefing can provide on its own. And I'll attach a link in the description below. So, if you are already a reader of the planet, thank you. We saw today another example why this work matters.